It started with a small fall. Nothing serious, just a slip over a laundry pile. Evelyn, 72, meant to fold days ago. But sitting there, she finally saw the truth. Her cozy home was quietly overwhelming her. For decades, she believed certain things couldn't be let go. Turns out they were lies. Today we're uncovering 10 decluttering myths many of us carry well into our 70s, and how letting them go can bring peace, clarity, and space. Let's begin with the very first lie. The call to change. Evelyn stood in the hallway, clutching a pair of old snow boots she hadn't worn in 15 years. They didn't even fit anymore. Her arches had changed. Her knees ached on colder days, but still she held them like they owed her something. Or maybe she owed them. What if I need them next winter? She thought. But in her heart she knew the truth. She hadn't needed them for over a decade. This is how it began, not with a giant garage cleanout, but with one small hesitant pause. Let's talk about that first lie so many of us have been told. 1. I might need it someday. This one sounds responsible on the surface. Why get rid of something that might come in handy? Right, the extra blender just in case the good one breaks. The stack of bedsheets for guests who don't come. The old sewing machine, though your fingers haven't held a needle since Clinton was in office. Here's the problem. Someday often never comes. And in the meantime, these just-in-case items quietly steal your space, your energy, and even your peace of mind. Every time you open a cabinet and items tumble out, or you can't find something because it's buried behind backup stuff, you pay a price, not in money, but in stress. One afternoon, while looking for her cane, Evelyn had to dig through 3 boxes in the hallway closet. Inside were backup kitchen utensils, holiday mugs, and a bundle of outdated cords, just in case. None of them helped her walk, but that moment made her realize the real emergency wasn't needing something, it was being unable to access what mattered because of what didn't. Try this phrase: if I needed it urgently tomorrow, how easy would it be to replace? Most items we cling to, just in case, are either cheap to replace, easily borrowed, or never actually needed again. Evelyn began a someday box, a single small container, where she placed items she wasn't sure about. She dated it. If she didn't need anything from it within 6 months, she donated the entire box without opening it. As Evelyn cleared the shelves and closets of someday clutter, her home started breathing again. She could see what she owned, and with that clarity came confidence, because she wasn't living in fear of the future, she was shaping it. Now let's move to a lie that feels a little sneakier, because it disguises itself as logic. 2. It was expensive, so I have to keep it. Oh, the guilt we attach to price tags. That designer handbag that cost half your pension. You haven't carried it since 2012, but every time you pass it, a pang of guilt whispers, you can't just give that away. It was expensive. Or the fancy juicer that promised energy, glowing skin, and vibrant mornings. Instead, it delivered 3 uses and a lot of sticky counter cleanup. Evelyn knew this one well. Her late husband had surprised her with a crystal punch bowl for their 40th anniversary. An investment, he'd said proudly. And it was of space, because for the next 30 years, it lived in a box in the basement, visited only by dust. We confuse value with worth. Just because something cost you money doesn't mean it's adding value to your life. In fact, the longer we hold on to expensive regrets, the more they drain us emotionally. There's also a behavioral trap at play here. Psychologists call it the sunk cost fallacy. When we invest time, money, or emotion into something, we feel obligated to see it through, even if it no longer serves us. That obligation, it keeps us stuck. Ask yourself, if I didn't already own this item, would I buy it today? If the answer is no, that's your permission to release it. Evelyn chose to honor her husband's memory in a new way. She took a photo of the punch bowl, wrote a short note about its story, and donated it to a local church that hosts community dinners. Let it sparkle for someone else. She smiled. 3. Try the trade test. Try the trade test. For every expensive item you're unsure about, Think, would I trade this for more space in my closet or peace in my home? That quiet clarity can guide your decision better than guilt ever will. You can even give yourself a little exit ritual. Thank the item for the role it played, then bless it to move on. It may sound silly, but it works, especially when you've carried the weight of cost on your heart for years. By the end of her first week, Evelyn had cleared 3 shelves, 2 drawers, and more importantly, her mind. She wasn't just decluttering things, she was letting go of pressure, guilt, and old expectations. Let's pause here and breathe. You don't have to clear the whole house in a day, you just have to start. And as Evelyn shows us, sometimes that first step is simply asking, is this serving me now? Coming up next, 2 more sneaky decluttering lies that often masquerade as love and loyalty. One of them might be hiding in your keepsake box right now. 4. It has sentimental value, so I can let it go. There's a delicate ache that comes with holding something that once meant the world. Evelyn ran her fingers across the rim of a cracked teacup she hadn't sipped from in over 20 years. It had belonged to her mother, a woman of quiet strength who'd hosted Sunday tea with pride, even in her old cotton robes. The cup wasn't in use. It wasn't even in the kitchen. It sat, chipped and forgotten, in a cardboard box marked fragile keep. But here's the truth, Evelyn finally faced. The love wasn't in the teacup. This lie is tender. It wraps itself in memory and sentiment, whispering that getting rid of an object is the same as erasing a person, a moment, a life. But that's not true. What makes something precious isn't the porcelain, it's the story behind it, and that story, that lives in you. Pick 1 or 2 truly meaningful items and give them a place of honor. Then for the rest, take photos. Write the story they hold. Evelyn created a small memory journal, taping in printed pictures of items and adding short notes like, Mom's teacup, Sunday morning talks when it was just us 2. Because honoring our memories doesn't mean preserving clutter, it means preserving connection. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means freeing yourself to remember more clearly, with warmth, not weight. Choose 1 item today that you've kept solely for sentimental reasons. Hold it, breathe, say aloud what it meant to you. Then ask yourself, is the memory strong enough without it? For Evelyn, it was. And her mother? She'd have smiled and said, about time. 5. Decluttering means throwing everything away. Let's be honest. Just hearing the word declutter can feel like someone's about to march into your home with a trash bag and a whistle. Evelyn had that exact panic once. Her niece offered to help declutter over a weekend visit, and Evelyn practically locked the closet doors. I like my things, she insisted, and she meant it. They told her life story. They were hers. But here's what she came to understand. Decluttering isn't about throwing your life away. It's about choosing what parts of it you want to bring forward. This lie, though, it makes us feel like decluttering means loss. But in reality, it's about curating, like an artist selecting their best pieces for a gallery wall. You're not tossing your life, you're showcasing it with intention. You're not a hoarder, you're a historian. And like all great historians, sometimes you revise the archive. She set up a love it or leave it table. Each week she'd take just 5 items she hadn't touched in years, and ask herself, does this still reflect who I am today? If yes, it stayed, cleaned, cared for, and used. If not, it moved on to someone who needed it more. Because as women, we've spent decades building homes full of care and comfort. The idea of throwing things out feels like unraveling all that nurturing, but choosing what stays, that's an act of self-love. Choose 1 area, maybe your bookshelf, kitchen drawer, or scarf bin. Don't throw everything out. Just ask, what still delights me? What can I share with someone else? You might be surprised at how freeing it feels to keep what you love, without apology. 6. It was a gift, so I can give it away. Guilt has a surprisingly long shelf life. Evelyn once had a ceramic angel figurine from her church group, hand-painted and lovely, and not at all her taste. For 10 years it sat on her dresser, quietly watching her like a porcelain promise. She didn't dislike it exactly, but it didn't bring joy either. And still she kept it, because someone gave it to her. We all do this. We hold on to gifts not because we want them, but because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. It's as if letting go of the item means rejecting the person who gave it. But love doesn't live inside ceramic angels. It lives in intention, in the kindness of the giving, not the keeping. That figurine had done its job. It had made her feel thought of. That moment was real and complete. Keeping the object didn't deepen that moment. It just gathered dust. This gift was appreciated the moment I received it. Its job is done. You can even say a little thank you aloud before passing it on. That closure, it works wonders. It matters emotionally, because women often carry emotional weight in quiet corners. We keep things out of politeness, burying our own discomfort, but kindness shouldn't require shelf space. Gather 3 gifts you've kept out of guilt. Set them on the table. Look at each one and ask, if this person were sitting here, would they want me to be weighed down or happy? Most of them, they'd probably tell you to let it go. Evelyn's home didn't empty overnight, but something inside her started to shift. As she let go of items with guilt, with grief, with obligation, she found something surprising. Room to breathe, room to move, to rest, to invite joy back in, without squeezing past a stack of should-haves. And most beautifully, she noticed that her memories grew stronger when she wasn't tripping over the things meant to protect them. So tell me, my dear friend, which one of these 3 lies have you caught whispering in your own home? Let's talk about it in the comments. You're not alone, and you never have to walk this journey by yourself. 7. Clutter is just a part of getting older. Let's pause for a moment and get real. There's a quiet myth that's crept into our generation, one we rarely question. This is just what life looks like at this age. A little more stuff, a little less order, cluttered counters, overcrowded drawers. I've earned this mess, we say with a laugh. But underneath that humor is often fatigue, both emotional and physical. Evelyn believed this for years. She'd walk past her hallway table, stacked with unopened mail, and whisper, "I'm too old to deal with all this." But then one Sunday morning, while searching for her reading glasses, she tripped over a loose pile of old newspapers. That small stumble stirred something bigger. Was she living comfortably, or just resigned? This lie tells us that clutter is natural with age, but let's flip that thinking. Getting older means you deserve clarity, not chaos, comfort, not complication. We forget that clutter accumulates not because we're lazy, but because we've lived long, full lives. That's not shameful, it's powerful. But even powerful women need space to breathe. Make a small mantra. Clarity is a kindness I give myself. Tape it somewhere visible. Start with what's in plain sight. Clear one surface. Not a whole room, just one space you see every day. A clean nightstand, a clutter-free kitchen counter. It changes how you feel walking into that space. It reminds you you're not buried beneath your years. You're still steering them. It matters emotionally, because giving in to this lie is a slow surrender. But letting go of it, that's you reclaiming the right to peace, regardless of your age. 8. I don't next have the energy or time to declutter. Now this one hits close to the bone, doesn't it? We don't talk enough about the invisible weight of fatigue, not just in our bodies, but in our minds. Evelyn knew it well. After a morning of simple tidying, her knees would ache and her back would protest like an old furnace. "It's just too much," she'd say. "I need to sit down." And that's fair. Bodies change. Energy dips. Time feels precious and short. But what changed everything for Evelyn wasn't more strength. It was a shift in strategy. You don't need a marathon mindset to clear your space. What you need is a rhythm that matches your life. Decluttering doesn't require hours. It doesn't demand perfection. What it needs is momentum, and momentum can start in 10 minutes. She created a habit called 10 and tuck. Every day after breakfast, she'd set a timer for 10 minutes. She'd pick a drawer, a shelf, or even just her purse, and sort what she could in that time. Then she'd stop. That's it. No guilt, no pushing. Some days she didn't even finish what she started. But she always started, and slowly her home began to transform. This matters emotionally, because women carry invisible lists in their minds, meals to plan, people to call, corners to clean. And when we don't have the energy to finish it all, we feel like we've failed. But every small action is a win, not a weakness. Habits beat willpower. Attach your 10 and tuck to an existing routine, after tea, before your favorite show, right after brushing your hair. That predictability removes the overwhelm. So instead of waiting for energy to magically appear, create systems that honor your pace. Because progress is not about speed, it's about consistency. 9. I'll get to it, eventually. The gentle lullaby of later. It's not dramatic or loud, it doesn't even feel like a lie. It feels like planning, like hope. Evelyn said it to herself all the time. I'll go through that box next week. I'll sort the hall closet after the holidays. But the holidays came and went, and then came again. The box stayed sealed. This lie is so tender because it disguises itself as self-kindness. But in truth, it delays peace. It puts off relief. And it piles up not just stuff, but stress. What finally broke the cycle for Evelyn was a memory. She was helping her neighbor's daughter clean out her late aunt's house. There were boxes, dozens of them, labeled someday. Inside were keepsakes, crafts, piles of paper, and notes for projects that never began. And Evelyn thought, Auden, is this what I'm leaving behind? A trail of good intentions. That's when she decided. Later was a story that needed an ending. The solution? Create a now corner. It's one spot in your home where something always gets handled today. It could be a junk drawer, a paper tray, a donation bag, but the rule, you touch it daily, even if only for 5 minutes. It matters emotionally, because eventually robs us of the satisfaction of completion. Every time we put it off, we add another layer of tension. But even the tiniest task finished now brings clarity, pride, and control. Use visual momentum. Place a now corner, where you walk by, often by the fridge, the hallway mirror, the kettle. Seeing progress builds motivation. Evelyn's now corner started with just a basket and a pair of scissors, but it became a habit, and then a mindset. And just like that, the big myths start to crumble. Not by doing everything at once, but by doing one real thing at a time. Let me ask you, gently, let's talk it through in the comments. I'd love to hear what you're letting go of, or what you're finally ready to start. 10. Decluttering means losing myself. Evelyn was folding sweaters when it hit her. The pink cardigan in her hands had seen everything. First dates, baby showers, rainy days at the bookstore. It wasn't just a piece of clothing. It was her, or at least it felt like her. Letting it go felt like letting go of the version of herself who had lived those moments. And that was the lie. That by releasing things, she was erasing herself. If you've ever held something and thought, but this is part of me, you're not alone. Here's what Evelyn discovered. You don't lose yourself by letting go. You find yourself again. Beneath the layers of used to be is the you that still is. The you who gets to decide what story your home tells now. For every item that feels like a piece of your identity, write down a memory it holds. Then ask yourself, do I need this item to keep that memory alive? Or is the memory alive because I lived it? It matters emotionally, because as women, we wear our lives in layers. Clothes, dishes, knickknacks, they tell our stories. But we're not the stories we've stored, we're the ones still living them. Give yourself permission to keep one identity box, a small container of truly symbolic items, your most meaningful pieces. The rest, release them, not because they weren't meaningful, but because their meaning is complete. 11. It says too late for me to change. Now here's a heavy one. Evelyn said this in a quiet voice one evening, sitting with a cup of chamomile. I've lived this way for so long, I don't even know where to start. Maybe it's too late for me. Her tone wasn't sad, just tired, like someone staring at a staircase with no handrail. This lie comes wrapped in age. It makes us think that routines are too deeply carved. that the chance for transformation has passed us by. But that's where the story turns. Because here's what happened next. Evelyn cleared out one drawer, just one. And when she did, something subtle shifted. She didn't just see more space. She saw herself as someone who could still grow, still change, still choose. It's not too late, not for you, not for anyone still breathing and wanting and wondering what's next. Start your own change corner, one space that reflects your current season of life. Make it yours. Clean, bright, fresh. It could be a table, a reading nook, even just your nightstand. That one space reminds you every day, I'm still becoming. It matters emotionally because the moment we believe we can't change, we stop imagining. And when we stop imagining, we stop becoming. But you, my friend, you are not done becoming. Write a small note to yourself. Tape it inside a cabinet or drawer you open often. Something simple, like start again gently. Let it greet you each morning. 12. My things matter more than my peace. Nobody ever says this one out loud, but we act on it all the time. That chair that squeaks but holds 6 throw blankets. The closet crammed so tightly you forget what's even inside. The shelf of antique plates you dust every week, but haven't used since 1985. Somewhere along the way, the idea slipped in that keeping all of it was somehow more valuable than how we feel around it. Evelyn didn't see it clearly until she sat down, exhausted, after trying to reorganize a cluttered corner of her bedroom for the 3rd time. She looked around and asked herself, why does this feel heavier than it should? The answer, because she was trading peace for possessions. Your peace is not a luxury, it is a need. You don't owe the objects in your home your energy, your time, or your discomfort. Stand in one room and ask yourself, what in here brings me actual peace? Whatever doesn't, question it, challenge it. Does it serve you or are you serving it? It matters emotionally because women are often caretakers, not just of people but of things. We maintain, polish, protect, but what protects you? Peace is not selfish, it's your birthright. Create a peace list. Write down 5 small things in your home that make you feel calm. A lamp, a blanket, a corner. Use this as your North Star. If something doesn't align with that list, why is it still in your space? By now, Evelyn's home was changing, not into something trendy or minimal, but into something true. A space that reflected the woman she was now, not just the one she used to be. So I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 3 final lies spoke the loudest to you? Let's talk it through in the comments. There's still time, still room, still you. 13. I can let go. It sets all I have left. Evelyn found it in the back of her linen closet, a baby blanket, soft and warm, folded so carefully it looked untouched. Her son was nearly 50 now, with children of his own. She held that blanket and wept, not from sadness, but from a wave of memory that rolled through her chest, like music she hadn't heard in years. I can't let this go, she thought. It's all I have left of those days. This belief, that certain items are the only links to people or moments we've loved, is one of the hardest to untangle. And yet it often isn't about the item itself. It's about grief, about time, about wanting to hold on when life keeps moving forward. But Evelyn learned something beautiful. Letting go of the object doesn't mean letting go of the love. The love stays. The laughter, the scent, the feeling, they all live in you. And sometimes, parting with an item isn't losing something. It's finally releasing the weight that memory shouldn't carry. Hold the item. Speak aloud the memory it holds. Tell the story to someone, your daughter, your neighbor, even yourself. Then ask, would this memory be weaker without the item, or does it live strong just in the telling? It matters emotionally, because so many women equate care with keeping, but your heart is not a storage unit, it's a storybook, and it's okay to turn the page. 14. If I declutter, I self-forget who I was. This lie wears a velvet cloak. It doesn't yell, it doesn't sting, it just whispers. Evelyn faced it when she opened her attic for the first time in years. Inside were her old college notebooks, faded letters from her first love, a tattered apron from when she used to bake bread every Sunday. None of it was used. Most of it hadn't been touched in decades, but as she stood there surrounded by her past selves, she thought, if I get rid of this, what's left of that girl? We often store old items like bookmarks in the chapters of our lives. But here's the truth. You are not only the woman you were, you are the woman you are still becoming, and she deserves space. Evelyn chose 3 items to keep: a photo, a recipe card, and 1 love letter. The rest, she scanned, shared, released. And you know what happened? The attic didn't feel like a museum anymore. It felt like a room with possibilities again. Choose one phase of your life, a job you had, a role you played, a version of you that mattered deeply. Pick one keepsake that represents it best. 1. Let that be your tribute. Then ask, what part of me still carries that woman forward today? It matters emotionally because we all long to be seen, but we don't need things to prove we existed. We are proof every day we wake up and choose life again. 15. Just leave it for someone else to deal with. Evelyn was sipping tea when her friend Miriam confessed something quietly. Honestly, I'm just going to leave it for the kids to sort out. I won't be here to worry about it. They both chuckled, but Evelyn's smile faded. She remembered the weeks she spent clearing out her aunt's home after she passed. The sorting, the guessing, the guilt. Should we keep this? Was this important to her? It was emotionally exhausting and heartbreaking. This final lie pretends to be practical, but in truth, it delays responsibility and it hands emotional labor to someone else. When Evelyn began letting go intentionally, she felt something surprising: relief, not guilt, not loss, but lightness. She was shaping her legacy, not leaving a mess. Start a no-guessing box. Label it clearly. Fill it with items you truly want passed on. Include names, short notes, even little stories. Then start donating, or letting go of the rest now, while you're still here to feel the freedom it brings. It matters emotionally, because letting go now isn't just kindness to your family, it's a gift to yourself. You get to decide what matters, what's passed down, and what gets released with grace. Set a weekly 15-minute session to revisit one drawer or box. Keep it light, maybe with music or tea. Make it a ritual, not a chore. And just like that, Evelyn wasn't overwhelmed anymore. She wasn't clinging, or delaying, or fearing. She was curating, choosing, breathing. Her home didn't look like a magazine. No, it looked like her. Spacious, quiet, alive. So now I ask you, which belief are you ready to release today? Leave a note in the comments. I'll be there reading with you and cheering you on every step of the way. Who knew? Tossing a chipped mug could feel like a personal breakthrough, right? If Evelyn can do it, tea stains, tears, and all, so can you. Drop your favorite, let it go moment in the comments, and let's celebrate each little victory. You're not decluttering stuff, you're upgrading your peace.